Good evening, everybody. It's Monday night, which means it's time to go wild. Welcome to the Time to Go Wild radio show on Halton Community Radio 92.3 FM. We're also live across the world on hcr923fm.com/listen and via TuneIn. If you want to contact the show, do so via social media, Facebook or twitter.com/ttgw radio. We have email, radio@widneswild.co.uk. We have the phone 01928 835 291 and text 07716 672 874. Start your message with TTGW or messages charged at your standard network rate. I hope you're all ready because it's time to go wild. A very warm welcome to the Time to Go Wild radio show here on Halton Community Radio 92.3 FM. It's me, Cole, with you for another hour roundup of ice hockey news across Halton and the rest of the country. I hope you've all been having a good weekend. And it's been a busy one in the world of hockey. We have with us tonight two special guests who I'll be bringing in a little while. But first, seeing that we've actually had some hockey, I may as well do this. So it's time for the roundup of all the results for games that have been going on around the country over the last week or so. Starting with Champions Hockey League, our Cardiff Devils have been taking part, and on Thursday it was Cardiff Devils 2, Red Bull Salzburg 5, and on Saturday Cardiff Devils 2, SC Bern 3 after overtime. Moving for pre-season action in the Elite Ice Hockey League on Saturday, Coventry Blaze 3, Amiens 4, Dundee Stars 5, EHC Freiburg 1, Five Flyers 7, Esperanten Kremeskau, if I've said it right, 6, Manchester Storm 3, Tulsa Lowen 1, Milton Keynes Lightning 5, Guildford Flames 2. On Saturday, pre-season Elite League action, Coventry Blaze 4, Amiens 2, Dundee Stars 2, EHC Freiburg 3 after overtime, Five Flyers 2, Tulsa Lowen 3 after overtime, Manchester Storm 3, Esperanten Kremeskau, again if I said it wrong, I apologise, 6, Guildford Flames 7, MK Lightning 4. Into full action in the Elite Ice Hockey League's Challenge Cup on Saturday. It was Nottingham Panthers 5, Sheffield Steelers 2. Moving to NIHL Division 1 North Morley on Saturday. Hull Pirates 8, Whitley Warriors 1, Billingham Stars 3, Sheffield Steel Dogs 4. Telford Tigers D1 12, Nottingham Lions 1. On Sunday, Whitley Warriors 2, Telford Tigers D1 8, Blackburn Hawks D1 1, Hull Pirates 5, Solihull Barons 4, Billingham Stars 5, Nottingham Lions 0, Sheffield Steel Dogs 11. Moving to NIHL Division 2 North Laidler, pre-season action, Telford Tigers D2 3, Coventry Blaze NIHL 0. League action, Dragons 3, Bradford Bulldogs 4, and the one we had last night, Widnes Wild, the YKK Widnes Wild in pre-season action. Widnes Wild 2, Sutton Sting 9. And that's a roundup of the scores from across the Elite League, Champions Hockey League and NIHL Division 1 North 1 and 2 for the last week. We'll have more for you next week, so don't forget to come back. after the game, managed to get some interviews.
It's time to go wild radio, catching up with Tom Jackson after the pre-season game against the Sutton Sting. Well, Tom, it definitely blew the cobwebs off, didn't it?
Oh yeah, it was rough. It was just penalties killed us at the end of the day, so we've got a lot to work on before next week, moving into the season. So
it was a fast-paced one to start the season going anyway.
It was indeed. They were really quick. They've got some really good players added to the squad, and just a better team on the day. Playing them again, hopefully do a bit better. Less penalties, it might help out.
But we've had a bit of a mini rebuild on the squad. How's everyone fitting in?
It's going well so far, I think. We've just added our last player, Dan, and he's great. He's a young kid, and he's obvious he wants to be here and wants to work hard every time he comes and trains and plays. So hopefully the squad going into the season will only get better, and we'll just build together as a team.
So just back to training, keep going and get ready for next week for the proper start of the season then.
Yeah, keep going. Get there eventually.
Well, thanks for joining us. Have a good week.
Thank you very much.
So it's time to go wild radio, catching up with Simon Butterworth, coach of the Sutton Sting. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, no problem.
So, very feisty, fast-paced game, but not the first one for the Sting so far.
No, I think we've played 3 games this year. Well, that was our third game. I know Widnes, that was their first game, so I think that makes a massive difference. We probably got a bit of a jump on guys. It does make a big difference.
So what are your expectations for your season coming up in D1 now?
I think it all depends. A lot of my guys need to step up and probably put in an extra 20%. Any teams out of the top 3 or 4, we should hopefully be running close and taking points off of them. If we finish in the playoffs, it's been an amazing season, so the top 8 teams.
I mean, this was sort of a return leg from the final from the end of last season, and apart from the scoreline, which was very much in your favour, I mean, it was a very competitive game, I'd say.
Yeah, in all honesty, I think the amount of power plays kind of ruined the game. We didn't really go 5-on-5 for much of the game. You guys took a lot of penalties. Maybe it was kind of your first game. Maybe we trying to keep up on the play. But 5-on-5, I think it might have been 2-1 in our favour. It wasn't a 9-2 game.
So moving into the D1, you think it's really going to work out? It's a very tough league as it was last year.
Yeah. Well, we kind of said if we win the league, we're going to go up. I think anyone that wins the league should give it a go. It's going to be really, really tough. We've kind of made the decision to do it. We'll do our best at it, and then we'll evaluate at the end of the season. I'd hope that whoever wins D2 this year will take that plunge and give it a go.
Well, all we can do is wish you well, and thanks for joining us today.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Here with one of our fans, Shannon, now. So, Shannon, what did you think of the game tonight?
Yeah, I thought it was really good. I thought we did really well, during the circumstances. To say it was a friendly, I thought we fought really well. And as well, with the new boys, I think they're going to be a cracking team for the new season.
Yeah, not quite what we wanted for our pre-season game, but no, I think I agree. Seemed to go okay. Did anyone stand out for you tonight?
Fair, definitely. He was belting on the ice. He did really well. Quality skater, and as well just getting really good in them intercepts. So yeah, really good for me.
What did you think of Luke, our new goalie?
Yeah, he's brilliant. He's really good. He's got a lot of different charisma. He's got nice different tactics. So yeah, he's looking really good for me.
Nice having him and Matty on the team then this year.
Yeah, looking strong.
Wait and see what happens.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you very much.
No worries.
It's time to go wild radio, catching up with a revitalised Vince Bullock after the wild pre-season game with the Sutton Sting. So Vince, bit of a new beginning for everyone in a way.
Oh, absolutely. That was a bit of a baptism of fire for everybody, I think, there. But yes, all things considered, a good start. I mean, Sutton, they've already played 2 previous games. That's the first time our boys have got together and played. So it's a good opportunity for them to come together. And from our point of view, and the volunteers and the match tonight, I thought it went really well.
Yeah, we had a new look, new intro, screen, projector, sound systems trying to all pull together.
Yeah, I thought everything went well. I will actually take this opportunity to apologise to everybody because of the buzz that was over the system. So before anybody starts ringing in and phoning in and complaining, we are aware of it and we are trying to deal with it, and hopefully we'll get it sorted in a very, very short period of time.
We had a few extra things on offer, like from the playoffs with the extra catering.
Oh, absolutely. The bar on the Dinky Rink, I think, is a great addition to the match night experience. It gives everybody the opportunity to get the pizzas and get jugs of ale and really enter into the spirit of the whole evening. So, I think everybody needs to let all the friends and family know that not only are we putting on a great night of hockey, but we're putting on a great night of entertainment for all the family.
And included with that, we have our usual 50-50 draw and the Chuck-a-Duck.
Well, we have our staples, our staple diet of Chuck-a-Duck and so on, but watch this space, because over the next few games coming season, we're going to be really upping the ante with some of the period breaks. We're going to have all sorts of fun on the ice. I'm not going to give you any clues about what that's going to be, but it's really going to be fun and hopefully a great experience for everybody.
As we say, you've heard it here first, but without giving too much away, it would be spoilers.
Oh, that would be, yes. And I also don't want to get anybody's opportunity to say, oh, I'm not doing that, because they are.
Well, we're going to be looking forward to the start of the season next week. It's Sheffield Senators, if I remember.
Yes, that's going to be an interesting game because obviously a number of our players are already ex-Sheffield players. So hopefully there's going to be a bit of pre-season knowledge about that. But also we'll have one or two players who aren't here tonight. They'll be back for next week. So fingers crossed, it should be a really great start to the season.
Well, thanks for joining us. We look forward to the things developing as the season goes on.
Thanks very much indeed, Carl. See you now. Cheers.
Well, there you go. Oh, some interesting comments about last night's game and the whole feel of everything from a few extra body. And thanks to Stacey Bungay, my roving reporter of the night. And hopefully for those of you out there who want to say a few words, get your thoughts and comments across at the end of a match, keep an eye out for myself and for Stace. And at the end of the match, if you want to come on air, a recorded interview, we're here to get you involved in the show. And don't forget, we've got plenty of involvement for the Time to Go Wild radio show. We've got our Facebook page, facebook.com/TTGW radio. The teeth are loose tonight. You can tell it's live. Warts and all radio. We also have our Twitter, twitter.com/TTGW radio, or if you swap them out and put Widnes Wild, they're for the main team. Right. Well, we may as well get on and introduce my guests. Well, I'll introduce the first one. He's been a part of the Wild fan base from pretty much the off, I would say. He has a presence, we'll say.
He's currently going out the door, mate. That's where he's going.
Welcome, Andy Wycherley. Hi, Andy.
Hi, mate. You all right?
I am. Thanks for coming along.
Yeah, all good. They've let me out the penalty box from last night, so I had a spare hour. I thought I'd come and annoy you for a bit.
So, just a bit about what got you to come to hockey in the first place.
Oh, Xbox, amazingly. Growing up with my brother playing the NHL games, and always just playing them. Never really got to a game, and next minute, sort of the rink got built and Wild appeared. So we've been pretty much every game since.
And would you say that you get a similar sort of experience between playing and watching?
Well, obviously it's completely different, isn't it? You know, I can't really throw things at people when we're getting beat in the actual rink like we do at home. But
yeah, but when it gets a bit feisty, you're getting involved with the checking in a different way and all the excitement involved in your own game.
You get swept away with it, don't you? It's, you go in there absolutely fine, thinking you're going to have a real fun, quiet night, and 5 minutes later you're banging on the glass, your drink's gone flying, you've lost your chips.
And I mean, you as somebody who's been more so within the crowd over the years it's built, you were there before the stands went in, as the crowd started with like the 150, 200 capacities, and it's grown and grown.
It does. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger, doesn't it? A bit annoying for me when I can't get my space on the glass, which is why I've resorted to hijacking the penalty box so I can get my view. But it's just seemed to have, the stands get busier and busier every week, and all of a sudden you get more and more banners there, and then the glass gets full, and then you get the really big games, which we'll probably get with D-side this year, and you just can't move, and complain all you want about getting your space. It's brilliant for the club and just adds to the atmosphere on the night, doesn't it? So.
I mean, you were there for the infamous 700-plus game, weren't you? Against D-side a few years back. I'm pretty sure you were there, and it was just heaving.
Oh God, yeah. I was trying to work out about minutes then.
No. It's 700 attendees. And
lock the doors.
I mean, being somebody who was actually down in the middle of it, how would you say that rates as an atmosphere for events that you've been to?
In terms of events I've been to, it's quite a small number of people in there. But I think with the compactness of the rink and everything going on, the glass reverberating, the atmosphere is absolutely stunning. It really can sort of blow you away for such a small crowd in comparison. Obviously, and when you go to an away game and there's 20 people in there and you can hear a cough from the home stand, it's absolutely completely different.
Yeah, of course we do tend to travel well.
We take more away than some home fans of sport. So,
so just as a thing to say to anyone out there who's thinking about coming along to a Wild game, what would you say?
You've just got to do it. Bite the bullet, do it. And the strange thing, I think, with the Wild compared to other clubs I've been involved with and been watching, it does turn into a family. And you can, you're there on a match night, chatting away, you go in the pub before and after, chatting to each other. I mean, through the week, me and you were always chatting. Thank you very much for the lift last night when my car broke.
No problem at all. That's the whole thing.
So it is just like a little family, and it's just for a Sunday night and the time it takes, the money it costs, you just cannot beat it.
So, and on top of that, you've also got as involved with our charity of this season.
I have indeed. I knew at the start of the year we still hadn't picked a charity for this year. And I actually have family who work for this charity, and I know they were looking to get wider known in the community. So we had a bit of a chat with Matt and a chat with some of the guys at the charity, and that's when we brought Halton Haven on board.
And you have a guest with you?
So we certainly do. So we've got Chris from Halton Haven, who's the fundraising manager.
That's right, yeah.
Welcome to the show. Thanks for coming along.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So tell us a little bit about your role and about the hospice.
So Halton Haven Hospice, I imagine sort of quite a decent number of your listeners will have heard of us before. We're an adult hospice based in Runcorn, and we provide specialist palliative care to people living with life-limiting and end-of-life conditions in the local area. So Runcorn, Widnes, Frodsham, and a few other areas nearby. We provide care for anyone who has a as I say, a life-limiting or an end-of-life condition. One kind of big thing, there's a lot of myths around hospices. The primary one being that a lot of people just think it's a place where you go to die, and that's absolutely not the case at all. We're very much focused on life and living. And about 50% of our patients do go home again, which is something that a lot of people aren't really aware of. My role at the hospice, I'm the fundraising manager. Myself and my colleague Faye, we look after all the fundraising, and that's how we sort of got involved with the Wild. Really, it's fantastic to be on board. We're absolutely thrilled to be the charity partner this year, and really looking forward to an exciting season.
Yeah, well, I mean, actually, going back to when I was in my late teens, and my grandfather was suffering, and he went into a hospice as part of convalescence. Yeah, and take it, a lot of people can come and go from the hospice as part of a convalescence for certain conditions that they would be suffering from.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, we see people at sort of various different stages with their conditions. We have our day hospice where people can come in. Perhaps just for sort of a few hours or an afternoon, and they'll go home again. They tend to be people that are maybe a bit more independent, perhaps not as far on with their condition. And we see people who will come and stay overnight at the hospice for maybe 1 or 2 nights, a few weeks potentially. Perhaps those are people who are going through a bit more of a difficult time, sort of struggling with their symptoms and with pain and that sort of thing. And then obviously there's the end of life care as well. But one thing that is sort of kind of underpins everything we do really is looking at what people's aims are and what things they want to work towards really. And if we can help people sort of with those, kind of reach those targets and just help them through whatever they're going through, that's what we're all about really.
I mean, have you been coming along to many of the Wild games before this season to get an experience, or was this your first sort of dipping your toe in the water on the ice?
We actually, myself and a few mates came along for the last couple of seasons. We've come to a handful of games, not as many as we'd have liked actually, but probably about 5 or 6 games over the last 2 seasons. So I did know about the Wild before the hospice became involved. And that was one of the reasons we were so kind of keen to jump on board, really, because it's a fantastic sort of afternoon, evening out, and it's brilliant for us to be a part of it as the hospice now.
I mean, just attending. I mean, were you surprised by the number of people that come along week in, week out?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Me and one of my mates who comes with us, he was saying yesterday, we were chatting at the game, and he was saying that before we came down for the first time, he thought that if he brought along a pair of skates, he'd probably be asked to have a game himself. That was, I think, what the kind of level he thought that Wild were operating at, and I'm very pleased to say that's not the case. It's absolutely fantastic. Yeah.
Well, on that thought, if anybody is interested, we do have the different levels of the hockey basics and rec hockey and different levels of coaching available. So, I mean, if anyone is interested, we actually have hockey basics training after Wild games as well. And
I'll have to let him know then, won't I?
our sort of most junior team of the rec level is now our wonderful Earl Road Elks, #Elks on tour. Quick plug for them already. They sort of started up on the back end of hockey basics after the now second team of the rec, which is the Halton Huskies, and then our now senior team after the unfortunate demise of the Wildcats, which is now the Riverside Raiders. So we've got Raiders, who are the more senior rec players. Then you've got the Huskies, and we have the Elks. So there's different levels within rec, and we have the women's team, and there's all the junior developments coming up. And there's such a wide variety within the rink of hockey and even just skating. And it is surprising just how much goes on.
Absolutely. I mean, that was something I didn't know about until quite recently. All the other teams that are involved in the academy, the youth setup, things like that. It's there's a lot going on, and I think I can speak for myself in saying I just wasn't really aware of that. I think there's a lot of people in Widnes and the local area who aren't sort of really aware of how big it is and what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, one thing, not just at Widnes, but at all rinks, they try and make it as accessible as possible for anybody to come and see it. So, if you try and make an appropriate viewing perch for people wherever possible, we do try our best to accommodate. Yeah. As you've probably seen, we do have access ramps. And one thing a lot of the newer rinks like Widnes have got involved with is lowered plexiglass on the boards for things like sledge hockey, and it can also have some of the juniors as well. So that if they do have to sit down at any point, or if they're in I say sledge hockey, it's now called para ice hockey, to give it the correct name. If they're using the benches properly, they can actually see through. Yeah. So that's for those people who aren't. Why is it they're only a half height piece of board and then it's a piece of plexiglass? The rinks are being designed with this in mind. Yeah. So there's so many different facets to everything that's going on. It's trying to bring people in, and having charities like the hospice involved. It's just really beneficial for both parties, I'd say. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Anyway, we're going to take a little breather and a little piece of music, and this one is, you'll probably think, hang on a minute, he's playing the score music, but no, you've been hearing it and hearing it and hearing it. I'm going to actually play it properly. A bit of Nickelback, and this means war. So, the season's underway. It's a bit of a time to do a rundown of the fixtures coming up over the next month. Now, you'll have to keep your eye on social media for this one, because I got a whisper last night that the Halton Huskies have a fixture on the 8th of September, but I'm not sure if it's a home or an away fixture. So keep your eyes on social media and you will find out about that one. But that is Saturday the 8th of September, a Halton Huskies fixture, but I'm not sure if it's a home or an away fixture. In the meantime, fixtures for your teams from Widnes over the next month. Sunday the 9th of September, Widnes Wild host your Sheffield Senators, face off at 5:30. Then on Saturday the 15th of September, the Blackburn Under-15s host the Widnes Under-15s. That's at 6:15. On Sunday the 16th of September, Widnes Under-9s have a cross-ice competition at Planet Ice Widnes, starting at 4:20. And the Widnes Wild Women are away in Milton Keynes, playing the Milton Keynes Falcons at 6:30. That's Sunday the 16th of September. Then on Saturday the 22nd of September, Sheffield Senators host our YKK Widnes Wild, face-off at 7:15. Sunday the 23rd of September, our YKK Widnes Wild host the Bradford Bulldogs at 5:30. And on Saturday the 29th of September, the D-side Under-13s take on Widnes Under-13s in D-side at 4:45. And finally, the Telford Tigers D2 will host your YKK Widnes Wild. That's Saturday 29th of September. That face-off is at 7 p.m. And we'll keep you abreast of all fixture changes as we get them. So, plenty of fixtures coming up, aren't there, guys?
Yeah, can't wait. I think I'm actually going to Telford one.
At the end of the month?
Yes. I'll definitely be at that one.
Well, that'll be that's usually a lively game down in Telford.
It'll be good. I'm just using it. I've got a couple of friends who live up that way, and we've talked about it for a long time, so we're going to drag them down and we're going to go and have a watch.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing the juniors. I'm going to be helping out a number of juniors when there's no conflicts with the seniors teams and the women's teams, etc. But yeah, we've got under-9s and under-13s games coming up in the coming weeks. So that the under-9s is, I think it's 4 teams. I can't remember the exact teams offhand, but they'll be playing a cross-ice tournament. And for those people who haven't seen the tournaments for the cross-ice, they're actually really good to come down and watch. And the kids, oh wow. If you think the guys can keep going, just put the kids on, wind them up, give them some sugary comestibles, and off they go. It's just a rubber band that just won't ever unwind.
It's like that with any of them. I mean, we get up to all sorts, but I remember walking up Snowdon, hardly breathe, struggling to get my breath, and pack of 6-year-olds go running past you like the full sprint.
If you could bottle their health and bottle their energy, you'd be making a mint, wouldn't you?
Absolutely.
But, I'm going to give a quick shout out to our sponsors, of course. We're always big thank you to them. Of course, we have YKK, hashtag not just a zip. They're our title sponsors. We have DMH Tyres, Bonus, Betting Sites, Sprakes & Son of Widnes, Ruxton Electricals and CL Woodworking. A big thank you to all of them for being involved with our YKK Widnes Wild, and of course our Halton Navin Hospice.
Thank you very much.
So yes, we had some representatives from the YKK Widnes Wild at a event, didn't we?
That's right. Yeah, that was fantastic. It was our Tea at 3 event at the hospice. It was a few weeks ago now. It's essentially it's a bit like a sort of summer fete type event with stalls and music and things like that within the grounds of the hospice. But the sort of key focus of it really is a butterfly release, which is obviously the memorial aspect of it, where people can come along, purchase a butterfly, and release it in memory of loved ones, whether they've passed away at the hospice or not. But one thing we'd be keen to do this year was make it a bit more of a sort of family-friendly, fun day, really. Have a few more activities for kids and things like that. And so through that we got the Wild involved. A couple of the guys came down and set up a goal, and stacks of kids getting involved. Absolutely loved it. I think plenty of kids who'd never tried it before, never thought twice about ice hockey, and having a go. It was brilliant to see. They were really popular.
I think the players liked it as well, partly because of the fact my dad kept turning up and buying them ice cream.
Yeah,
so they were doing well.
Popular, yeah.
I think it was quite a warm day as well. If
it was, we thought it was going to chuck it down, and we were panicking about the weather in advance, and then it was lovely on the day. So, the fella from Cheeky Ice Cream made a killing, I think.
There's some good photographs on our social medias between the hospice, between the Widnes Wild, and on I've used them with the acknowledgements on the Instagram as well. So if you look up them. There's a very nice one of 3 of the lads there. It's Baz, Lee
and
Mikey eating ice creams,
working
very
hard.
pleased with themselves.
Yeah, it's rare my dad even has been to a game, and I don't think he really knew who they were, but he just got chatting and demanded he go and buy them ice cream. So just turned up with them.
So yeah, it looked a really well supported event. The
it went really well. We should be on course to. We've got a few more donations still to come in, but we're on course to raise about £3,700 from it, which we're absolutely delighted with. And like with all the fundraising that we do, it's all thanks to the local people who support us. We wouldn't be able to do what we do at the hospice without the local people who donate and fundraise and all sorts for us. So we're incredibly grateful to everyone who does their bit for the hospice.
Oh well, it is good. It's one of these things where organisations like hospices need to work with donations and beneficiaries, etc. But they provide such a valuable additional piece of care and peace of mind in a way for a lot of families.
Yeah, that's it. It's. The care that we provide is sort of primarily focused on the patient themselves, but we do a lot for the families as well. So whilst we're caring for their loved one, we'll be on hand to support the families. And if someone does pass away at the hospice or pass away having been cared for at the hospice, then our family support team are there for bereavement and counselling services for as long as they're needed. We have people coming back to see the family support team sort of 10-15 years after their loved ones passed away. So they'll be there for as long as they're needed, really.
Having lost a good friend of mine just 18 months ago, it was such a shock. But having support mechanisms there for the family and for even friends of the family, it's very, very important. It just helps calm you. It can just be that balance, really.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think people kind of work through their grief in very different ways and go through sort of stages of grief at different times. And the family support team are fantastic with that and sort of working with people and kind of helping to bring them out the other side, I suppose, really.
It's one of the other things with the sort of tie up with the wild as well. I don't think people realise what's there from.
Yeah,
do they?
So. Yeah, absolutely. Like I was saying about myths about hospices before, I think a lot of people think a hospice is just a ward with some beds on and that's it, and don't realise about family support, about day hospice, physiotherapy, other things like that. There's a lot going on that people aren't aware of. So we're perfect partners for the wild, really, aren't we? There's a lot happening that people just don't know about.
Yeah, so. Well, as you're saying about the whole family and environment, that when I started coming onto the wild, I was surprised at you get the first game or two at how many people come along, dip their toe in, and or maybe not. But the fact it's grown, and I've made so many new friends and connections, and the amount of people who I've got to know who work in so many different circles, and you find out about other things within the community again, be it business connections or support connections within the local area that you wouldn't necessarily come across. Even with the way social media works these days, you don't necessarily pick up on certain things in that more intimate one-to-one, person-to-person interaction.
Yeah, no, I agree with that completely. It's once you sort of start getting involved in various things within the community, you kind of you realise how sort of close it is and how everyone knows everyone, and it's again, that's another great reason to be a part of the sort of association with the wild. It's fantastic to kind of meet new people, build new connections, all that sort of thing.
The interaction, things like an interaction at a wild game can really lift. It might be a bad game, but next thing you know, the people around you get a new perspective, and everyone buoys up. And even last night as an example, the score mightn't have been going in our favour, but the fans were still making plenty of noise and keeping behind the lads. And
we've seen it change, like the playoffs last year.
Oh, actually,
and we were so far behind, and everyone just got back up, and the team suddenly got that one goal, and
Well, I'm going to ask you, have you recovered from the playoffs? Because even now we're in the season and my brain still hasn't recovered from that game. Yeah, for those of you who like, well, for me who didn't watch the penalty shot, you now get the opportunity of watching that final penalty shot time and time again on our little promotional sort of promo video that's now on different social media platforms, and of course as part of our new intro video at the beginning of each game. And yeah, you're just watching things like that and you think, oh, and that kind of elation can just lift you and give you that boost from time to time.
I think the game didn't finish till ridiculously late on, did it? Cause
it was long.
We went through, it was well past 10 o'clock, I think, or something stupid. And I got home, I was absolutely wired after that. I just could not sleep.
I was wired and shattered at the same time.
And we're just watching it, we're not even on there, it's, God knows what it did to the players.
Oh, I mean, and then they had to play another game the following day.
Yeah.
This is where I take my hat off to, especially the guys in the D1 and D2 leagues, where there are times where they'll play home and away, Saturday, Sunday, and then they're up for work on the Monday. So they might depending on what sort of jobs they're in. I mean, some of these guys, could be a roofer, could be an electrician, could be a decorator. Depends what, some can be really strenuous jobs, physical jobs during the week, and then they're playing hockey at the weekends. It's like, where do these guys find the energy?
I have no idea. I sleep all weekend. I get up, I go to the Wild game on a Sunday, and I go back to bed.
Well, we shall take a little breather, and we've got a few choices now. You don't want the earworm, do you?
No.
I do. I'm fully up for that. I know what it is. Yeah. It'll make everyone's week.
Might play that towards the end. But I know we'll have a little bit of House of Pain, I think, and jump around because it's one that does get played at games. It was played last night, and people do have a bit of a dance around. And that's what we want to see. Everyone getting up and really into the throes of things. So we'll take a breather. We'll catch you after the House of Pain, and jump around.
One time to go on radio. It is time to sit back and relax and enjoy Mike Marr's Monday Mantra.
This weekend's game gave us chance to work off the rust and play together as a team for the first time. I don't feel that the score did the game justice. At full strength we were more than capable to have an even game against Sutton, but this weekend's penalties killed us. Pre-season is a pre-season, but the real test starts this weekend against Sheffield. We are excited to get the campaign going.
Join us again next week for more wise words on Mike Marr's Monday Mantra.
Well, just our usual little bit of a roundup of the reminders of what we've got coming up. Don't forget, if you want to check out the Widnes Wild website, we have our community section with the community programme, Learn to Play, the Junior Academy, and your sponsor information. And I suppose we can still get season tickets because we're just about to start the full season. So your full season pass for 16 home games, £105 for adults, £60 for kids, and it's the equivalent of just under 3 games free for an adult and 4 free games for your kids. And there's opportunities to attend extra events, discounts on merchandise, and other little perks. And we will be announcing away travel as we know some more details. But if you want to get an idea of costings for a non-season ticket holder, it'll be £6. And for season ticket holders, £5. And for children with an accompanied paying adult, it is £1. And one final main bit of news from the Widnes Wild website is the Own and Loan. A massive, massive, massive thank you to everybody who has taken part in the Own and Loan this year, because there isn't a single shirt left. every single shirt from the YKK Widnes Wilds own and loan grid has gone. They've all been sponsored. What do you think of that?
That just shows you what we were talking about before with the fans, doesn't it? Because only 2-3 years ago, on this show, every week begging, trying to get rid of them, trying to get them sponsored. And, we've not even hit first game and the whole squad's gone.
Yeah, that's a lot of shirts this year. It's a big squad we've got, and we've got 3 shirts, one home and away, and a warm-up for our very excitable mascot, the infamous Pucker the Penguin. But yeah, it's just phenomenal. I just can't. They've been going. The own and loans have been going out the door basically before they were being announced in effect.
And I think putting a wait list in, weren't they? And the second they got announced, they were gone that night, weren't they?
Yeah. People just said, I want the next one. I think they were just putting them in and boom, gone. And it just sorry about that. There was a bit of distortion there. But yeah, it's amazing. I mean, last year we did really well. We just had a couple, about 2 or 3 shirts left towards the end of the season. But this year, the fact that every single shirt has been owned and loaned.
I think we're on record season ticket sales as well, aren't we?
Yeah, it's just phenomenal. I mean, the turnout last night was brilliant, and hopefully we're going to continue throughout the season.
I was surprised by that last night. I thought friendly, first one, it's going to be half full. It was really busy again.
Yeah, and of course we've got all the extra bits of catering involved, which I think a lot of people were able to enjoy, and it did make things flow a bit easier.
Yeah, first night I've not got the car with me and I couldn't go to the bar, so I was in the penalty box.
But yes, just to reiterate the comment from Vince from earlier, and we do apologise to everybody for the... I've got to say, sorry, I've just noticed an announcement from Matt. The season ticket sales have stopped. So a correction on the season ticket sales. The season ticket sales have now stopped. And I'm sorry about that announcement, but there we go. The season tickets are no longer available.
Hence the record.
But when you want to come down to watch the YKK Widnes Wild, it's £8 for adults, £5 for children on the door. So, but don't worry, just come along. But we do apologise for the difficulties and the issues with the sound system. We do have people looking into it, and there's a minor technical issue that we are trying to address with that, and we do apologise for the background buzz that was plaguing the rink. It might not be fixed for the next week, but it will be getting looked at. We do promise you. Right. Well, we've got about 10 minutes to go. So, an event coming up very shortly for our sponsor. Well, our sponsor, our charity, isn't it? There's a game
next week. Yes. Well, obviously, being the charity partner, we've invited them down next week for the first game of the season. So I'm not sure who's going to be there yet from the charity and what's.
Yeah, well, sadly, I've got to miss it. I'm my mate's selfishly having a stag do this weekend, so I'm not around. But one or two people from the hospice will certainly be there on the night. We're going to have a fundraising stall, and if anyone's got any loose change, if anyone wants to come along and say hello to whoever is there from the hospice at our stall, that'll be fantastic. We always like to meet new people. Pop over and hopefully we'll raise a few quid for the hospice.
We're not sure whereabouts they'll be yet, but we'll sort that this week. But they'll definitely be at the match.
We'll be visible. Yeah. You're not going to miss us. We won't let you.
We just had and one thing we do mention to people is if you want any shout outs for any events, be it birthdays and special anniversaries, and apparently there's a happy birthday to Carl Bungay for tomorrow. It's his birthday tomorrow, so a happy birthday to one of our dedicated Wild fans there for Carl Bungay. If you have any more announcements like that and you want to let us know, drop us a shout through to radio@widneswild.co.uk, or you can drop me a text 07716 672 874. Those texts come to a direct number, and it's not a premium number, it is a normal text. It's a normal number. It's on a little phone. It's not going to cost you the earth. It's just a normal number. So that's 2 ways in which you can get messages to us about any birthday events, or you can drop them through a message via Facebook, facebook.com/TGGW Radio. one more quick shout out about things happening, and hopefully at some point after I get home from here tonight, your goal highlights from last night's game, including a little ding dong that happened as well. I nearly forgot to put it in.
Is this Mr. Ratcliffe?
Yes,
as usual.
Young Mr. Ratcliffe decided to have a disagreement with one of the players from the Sutton Sting, and I nearly forgot to put it in the highlights.
You can't leave Ratty out. It's
I couldn't leave it out. I just started doing the edit, and as I said, hang on a minute, I forgot about the scrap.
Well, I actually think we're getting to a point that you're going to need to do his own DVD as a Christmas highlights reel.
Interesting. It's all right. The thing is, these days, and because of the way in which videoing can be done, players and often ask me for clips of their own goals or something specific, and also for the officials, and it's become a massive tool to help everybody out as the video over the years. And I find it a privilege on my behalf to be able to be involved, to give back, both doing that and this show. I think it's and it's great to have such people involved with our different partners in different ways and shapes.
But yeah, something you want to see last night. We were watching the new promo before everyone came in, getting the projector up and running, and the first person watching it was Lee Kemp. And when we asked what he was up to, he just wanted to see if he was on it.
And guess what?
Yes, the Sting game from last year, wasn't it?
The big fight.
Yes.
Yeah.
So much better fight when you strip your opponent.
Yes. Actually, that's the second time one of Lee's fights has been in one of the intro videos. There was the one with Tom Revers that was in Altrincham the other year, and that made it into the intro as well.
Yeah, he's a happy boy now. He's on there.
Yeah. You can see some of our players. They're just so. They're not vain in any way. They just like to make sure they've made a contribution.
I don't think you could ever call Kempy vain, can you?
No, he's not. No, they're all lovely guys. I mean, they're so funny. I mean, I have to do this quick mention. It was nice to see TJ having normal hair after last season with the mullet.
Yeah, and dips as well. I seen him coming into the rink and he said hello, and I didn't even recognise him because he's had everything caught and shaved his beard.
I know. He's trying to streamline in without the beard. And for those of you out there that know our Sean Dipnall, I mean, one of the funniest things you hear is some of the comments that are said to him on the ice. And depending upon which rink you're in and where you are, sometimes when I took him from filming, I can be near the bench. I can be sort of overlooking the benches, and some of the players from opposition have thrown comments, and somebody throw a comment at Dippy, and he just said, I said, what did he say? And he said, he just tried to insult the beard. And I was like,
wasn't it about 3 years ago we had Dippy's beard appreciation night? We all had the big ginger beards on.
Oh yes, and they all sort of show little bits of character from time to time. And the thing that you'll notice about games in Widnes and similar sized rinks is you are so close to the action, and it makes it more inclusive in a way. You feel more part of the game, I feel.
Yeah, I mean, I obviously do the doors, getting the players on and off the ice as well, and it's the only place I've seen where they purposely come out and they've got the kids all at the gates waiting to see them, fist bump, and every single player comes off, goes to see them. It's the only place I've seen where it's been done.
I mean, there's a couple of other rinks where the way in which the players actually go in and out. I mean, Bradford. We always talk about Bradford.
I love Bradford
rink. Bradford, the ultimate quirky rink, and it's not a case of you can fist pump the players as they come off the ice. If you're from the away fans,
you trip over them on the stairs.
Yeah, or you're up on the gallery level, and you're fist pumping them as they're going into the dressing room because they've got to walk past you. Rinks are, there are some really quirky places out there, and they are so worth a visit to go to. And we all say about going to Blackburn and it being rather cold, or you go to such a rink and it's this and that. It's all part of the event, and that's what keeps us all going week in, week out, I think. So,
absolutely, and that's why I'm going to get more away games in this year. Get myself in more trouble on the coach as usual.
I think there's only a couple of away games I'm missing this year, and that's mainly because of the work commitments the following day or something. But we are looking forward to the season ahead. it's going to be a very, very busy one. Not quite as many games as last year, but in the meantime, don't forget you do have our juniors. So we've got under 9s, under 13s, under 15s. We've got the Widnes Wild women starting their season, but their home games will be starting a little bit later on, but they've got a lot of road games. And, of course, we've got hockey basics. We've got all the other things that people are involved in across Planet Ice Widnes. So
seamless links there. He's done this before.
What a pro.
Oh, well...
Just to return a smash in, nicely, we're all right.
Yeah, all for charity, mate. Great, mate. Anyway, well, we shall now wrap it up. Play a song to see us home. A little bit of John Mellencamp to see us out. But I'd like to thank both of you for coming this evening.
Oh, thanks for having us.
Yeah, been good fun, mate.
And in the meantime, I'll wish everyone a good rest of the week. Take care. And... yes, I think I'm going to just about wait a moment longer just before I hit start on this because we're going to run out of time. The wonders of live radio. But
Seamless.
I'll be back on Thursday night with Cole's Box of Delights here on HCR from 9 p.m. on Thursday. And back next Monday from 7 with more people to keep me under control, stop me bouncing off the walls, and your roundup of the weekly ice hockey events across the Northwest and Halton and the rest of the country. So, from all of us here, good night.
Good night.
Good night.
And we'll catch you next week.